An arrogant boxer mocked a 14-year-old black girl in front of a cheering crowd just to humiliate her. He laughed until she stepped into the ring. What happened next? No one saw coming. The crowd was roaring, not with excitement, but with laughter, snide comments, and the kind of mocking energy that fills a room when people think they've already seen the ending to a story. Inside a dimly lit gym, nestled in a dusty southern town known more for rowdy bar fights than proper boxing, stood Ricky the Hammer Holt. Muscled up, loud-mouthed, and undefeated in his small league, Ricky had become something of a local legend, not because of skill, but because of his flair for bullying the weak and making it entertaining. He basked in attention like a spotlight junkie. And that day, when the doors creaked open and a quiet, dark-skinned girl no older than 14 walked in, all eyes eventually turned to her. She was just watching, curious, clutching a school bag, wearing scuffed sneakers and oversized headphones draped around her neck. Her name was Maya, and she said nothing, just stared at the ring with wide, intelligent eyes. That's when Ricky saw his next act. He strutted over to the ropes, leaning on them with that signature cocky grin. "Hey, little girl," he called out loud enough for everyone to hear. "Want to go around with a real champ?" Laughter exploded around the room. Phones were already out, cameras ready to capture the humiliation. Some of the regulars shouted things like, "Don't break her, Ricky," or "She gonna cry before the bell rings." But Maya didn't laugh. She didn't speak. She just looked at him, calm, still, steady. No headgear, no excuses, Ricky added smugly. Still silent, Maya dropped her bag, pulled off her hoodie, and stepped forward. She wasn't scared. She wasn't smiling. She was ready, and that's when everything began to change. Ricky's buddies lined the ring like a row of grinning hyenas, phones raised high, recording every second. This was going to be gold, a viral clip. A David versus Goliath parody, only, in his mind, David never stood a chance. "Watch me teach this little girl her place," Ricky muttered to the camera with a smirk, flexing his gloves like he was prepping for a title match. But Maya didn't flinch. She didn't even blink. Wearing oversized, worn-out gloves borrowed from the back room, she looked absurdly underprepared. Her hoodie now tossed in the corner, revealing a slim frame, shoulders relaxed, hands steady. No coach in her corner. No one cheering her on. Just a thin ring of silence around her, as if the air itself had paused to see what would happen next. She tapped gloves with Ricky, barely, and took 2 quiet steps back. No bouncing, no shadow boxing, just calm breath. The sea. Bell rang. Ricky wasted no time. He charged like a bull, eyes full of fire, fists clenched to crush. But Maya moved. Not fast. Fluid. She slipped left, her shoes barely whispering on the mat. Ricky swung and missed. He pivoted, throwing a wild hook. Missed again. Confusion flickered in his eyes. His fists cut through air. Hers cut through space. Then, snap! Single jab, quick as a flash of lightning, clean, surgical, right to the bridge of his nose. Time stopped. Ricky froze mid-step, his head snapping back as if yanked by an invisible string. The sound of glove on bone echoed louder than the bell. The gym, once a chorus of laughter, fell into dead silence. Maya didn't follow up, didn't gloat. She just stepped back, expression unchanged, and in that moment, everyone realized this wasn't going the way they thought it would. Ricky stumbled backward, blinking rapidly. Blood dripped steadily from his nose, staining his upper lip. His swagger was gone, replaced by confusion, and something new for him, fear. He wiped his face, staring at his red-stained glove as if it didn't belong to him. He'd been hit before, but never like this. Never with such precision, never by someone who looked so still. It wasn't just the punch, it was the way Maya moved. Every step, every shift in weight. It was too controlled, too smooth, too trained. This wasn't some lucky jab from a scared girl. This was a fighter, a real one. And still, Maya didn't smile. She didn't flex, didn't raise her arms, didn't look at the crowd. She just waited, breathing like she was in no hurry at all. Ricky, embarrassed and enraged, bellowed a furious roar. He charged like a freight train gone off track, arms swinging wildly. No form, no discipline, just blind power and panic. But Maya moved again. She ducked beneath a clumsy right hook, spun inside his reach with ghost-like ease, and delivered a brutal uppercut. The sound was like a thunderclap. Ricky's body went stiff mid-motion, then fell, flat, hard, face up on the canvas. Gasps filled the room. Phones clattered to the floor. The laughter had vanished. So had the arrogance. In its place, stunned silence. The so-called champ lay there, unmoving, unconscious, his chest rising shallow, eyes closed, arms spread like a fallen statue. And Maya? She didn't pose. She didn't celebrate. She stood still, chin slightly lifted, calm and composed, like the eye of a hurricane. Silent, strong, unshakable. Everyone in that gym now realized they weren't witnessing a fluke. They were witnessing the arrival of a storm, and her name was Maya. From the far corner of the gym, where the fluorescent lights barely reached, a slow, steady clap broke the silence. All heads turned. It was the old man who swept the gym floors, the one no one ever really paid attention to. With gray stubble, a bent cap, and eyes that had seen far too many matches, he stepped forward. Calm, smiling. "You didn't tell them, Maya?" he said, his voice gravelly but kind, echoing off the stunned walls. Maya looked his way and gave the smallest of nods. "Nothing more." Whispers started fluttering across the crowd like wildfire. "Who was she?" the old man continued, now addressing the crowd. "That girl right there. She's not new to this. She's been training before most of you were even awake. Every morning, rain or shine, discipline you can't teach, heart you can't fake." People looked around, stunned, their earlier laughter now replaced with respect or guilt. "She's the daughter of Marcus Thunderfist Carter," he said proudly. A wave of realization washed over the few old-timers in the crowd. The Marcus. Carter, Olympic bronze medalist, retired early due to injury, vanished from the spotlight almost 2 decades ago. She grew up in the ring, the coach went on, sparred with grown men, studied footwork from legends, learned to control her breath, her fear, her fire. She had no spotlight, no social media clout, no ego, only the fight. As people absorbed the truth, all eyes shifted back to Maya. Still, silent, still steady, and Ricky? Still lying on the canvas, unaware that his biggest mistake wasn't rushing in. It was underestimating the quietest, most focused person in the room, because real power doesn't need noise. It only needs a moment. And Maya? She just had hers. By the next morning, the clip had spread like wildfire. First, it hit local news sites, then national sports pages. Then the big platforms, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube Shorts. Within hours, it had racked up millions of views. The title alone was enough to make people click. "Teen girl silences arrogant bully boxer in one punch." Comments poured in, some in shock, some in admiration. Memes, slow-motion edits, breakdowns by boxing analysts. Everyone wanted to know, who was this girl? Where did she come from? But while the internet buzzed, Maya wasn't scrolling, she wasn't tweeting, wasn't live streaming. She was back in the gym, 5 a.m. sharp, shadowboxing, jumping rope, training, like nothing had happened. The fame came anyway. Offers rolled in, training scholarships from elite academies, interviews from morning shows, brand sponsorships that promised quick cash and fast fame. Maya said no to most of them. She wasn't chasing the spotlight. She was the spotlight, and she knew it. When asked why she turned down the hype, her answer was simple and powerful. "I'm not here for likes. I'm here to fight for every girl who's ever been laughed at, for every quiet one who no one believed in. She became a symbol, not just of strength, but of silent strength, the kind that doesn't need to shout to be heard. And Ricky? He never stepped back into the ring. His reputation crumbled overnight. He deactivated his socials, disappeared from the gym, and while some mocked him, others said maybe it was the lesson he needed, because sometimes the most devastating punches don't come from the biggest muscles or loudest mouths. They come from the ones you never see coming, the ones who walk in quietly and leave with the whole world watching. Maya did just that, and the world would never forget her. If this story gave you chills or made you believe in quiet strength, don't forget to hit that like button. Drop a comment and tell us, have you ever been underestimated? We'd love to hear your story. And if you want more powerful, unexpected tales like this one, make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon so you never miss a story that hits harder than a knockout punch. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay strong, even when no one's watching.